I am Verona and I'm 91 years old.
I'm William Brosh, and I'm 85 years old. I was born and raised here, right here on the farm. Yeah, not in a hospital, right here on the farm.
Grandma Brosh bought the place in February of 1882. I don't know the exact date. She paid $300 for the entire farm. This is not per acre like they sell them now. This was for the entire farm.
Our farm was, well, it was, I suppose, 160 it started out with. But see, then the lake wasn't, like it wasn't dammed up, and that whole pasture was quite a bit larger. I'll give you a little background. This is before my time even. But the background, I'll start with the highway. The highway was not here. This highway was put in about 1929. But the lake and was not dammed up at that time either. So this land, what is now our pasture, that was working land that was planted mostly to flax. My dad had flax in there, and that was up to the lake shore at that time. There was quite a few horses used yet when I grew up here. A lot of the farming was done with horses yet. Oh yes. In fact, even you wouldn't hardly believe we got married in 1960. 1950. And then I still planted corn my first years with 2 horses and a John Deere corn planter with 2-row is what it was, yeah. Oh, it has, I can still recall they had pipes where, you know, where you parked uptown to try tied up the horses. And especially it was Merck at that time, Mercantile Company. Was absolutely clear. You could see the bottom, whatever, any fish, anything that was in showed up. Yeah, it was that clear.
When I first came here, which was in 1950, I thought Lake Titloe was a beautiful place. We had water lilies in the lake.
Oh, big, just beautiful flowers. In fact, they were that thick, you could not go through with a boat.
We had a pasture out there then, and the cattle going over to the island to graze because I didn't have very deep water to go through. So it was a lake that you fished on, and I remember the relatives saying that Grandma Brosh would that is Bill's Grandma Brosh, she used to fish there at night. And she would, and even if the babies were born and small, she'd put straw in the boat and go fishing at night and fish, and then sell them during the days. So.
Well, there were so many fish in there. He fished by nets, and all the boat would carry 2 wash tubs of fish, and they just feed them to the hogs. Yeah, used them for that. Yeah. That many fish were in there at one time. Oh yes. The old timers at least will remember the dry years in the 30s. But in those dry years, like what is now our pasture, where the weeds were so high, about 8, 10, 12 feet high, even for shooting pheasants, you couldn't hardly see the pheasant once they got up. There was enough weeds that you couldn't hardly shoot them, yeah. They were that plentiful. And the pheasants were, if one would get up, at least 5 or more would. That plentiful pheasants were. And ducks here too. But any animals that lived around here under the lake, They were bountiful. Instead of going to the chicken barn, getting a chicken, you just going back to the grove and shoot a few pheasants. It's hard for me to believe that they can be this scarce, but that's the difference from just a few years, yeah. We had ducks, we had some swans, and geese were plentiful. So, but it has changed. Oh, the dam was, but this was the city's idea, is the one that put the dam in. And they wanted, the lake would expand and for viewing, for looks, for appearance is what they wanted it for. And then with the highway here, it also a perfect viewing you had from the highway, that it was, yeah. I think this is the third dam in there already. 2 other times the dam was blown out. It's just like here, it took up land that you paid taxes for. And, that bothers pretty easy. And
So somebody blew it up?
Oh, yes. I'm sure.
Dynamited it.
So you see that the farmers are against it, or because you pay taxes for that land and you have water is what happened. And I'm sure that's why the dam was blown out. They never did find out who blew it out, but the next morning when it was out, the lake was down. Yeah, it has changed. It's 2 different worlds, really, is what it is. There's almost every species of fishing for Minnesotans in that lake. The lake has the possibilities if they would drain it or dredge it, or there's so many things that could be done with it, so many things they could do.